Hello, my name is John Schneider. When I was a kid, I used to visit my Grandma Vi in the Jersey BAYSHORE area, and I'd take 8mm movies of my family and their friends. In fact, I was the family filmmaker. Today I live here, but traded my film camera for video, and recently shot this tugboat in the Shrewsbury River. Welcome to Jersey BAYSHORE country. This is where you'll find Raritan Bay, the Atlantic Ocean, as well as Sandy Hook Bay. Where is the Jersey BAYSHORE? Let's get oriented by starting with the big picture. It's somewhere in here, part of the universe, and definitely part of our world. But it's like no place I've ever experienced. And as soon as we land, I'll show you around. Well, welcome to Holmdel, New Jersey. Holmdel is one of the cities in the Jersey BAYSHORE. It's the home to an actor who was in the new Jersey Boys movie. His name is Johnny Cannizzaro. We're going to talk to him today. He just a couple of weeks ago went to the New York premiere of Jersey Boy, directed by Clint Eastwood. That's him on the right. And look at his name in the credits. Look at that. He's right up there. He plays Nick DeVito. And he talks about all of his experiences. Listen, here's some of his work.
Freeze! Whoa. You move, you die.
Come on, guys. We're flat broke.
This look like a robbery? We're just trying to scratch together a meal.
Or if you got kids watching, you might want to turn them around the other way.
So scratch.
It gets a little violent.
Act natural. Keep playing.
Just a reminder, this is not Jersey Boys. All right, look away. Here we go. This is it. Oh, Johnny! Whoa! Here's another scene from one of his films.
My daddy lets me sit on his lap.
Well, do you like it when he asks you?
No.
Why not? Are you two alone when he asks you? Does he say strange things?
Well, I had an opportunity to talk to Johnny via Skype, so the video quality is not all that good, and the audio quality is not that good either. But you'll get the general idea. Here's my interview with Johnny Cannizzaro. How did you get into acting?
Well, I went to, I was in the Holmdel Township School District. That's where I grew up for the most part. And I started working stage crew on a lot of the, the musicals that we did. I think it was my sophomore year when I think we did The Wizard of Oz or something. And I just remember being so fascinated with the people in the show that I said I wanted to do it the following year. And the rest is kind of history.
So you studied also at Brookdale College. What was that like? What was the experience there?
Yeah, the experience at Brookdale was amazing. I had so many great professors there who were very supportive of what I wanted to do. And I made a lot of friends there. My professor, his name was John Bukovac, and I believe he's still over there. But he was a big reason why I decided to move out to Los Angeles.
Where were you when you got a phone call about Jersey Boys? How did you feel, and what did they say to you?
Okay, well, I was at my day job, which I've had since I moved to LA, and when my phone rang, it was my agent, and she was telling me that I had booked the role, which I didn't believe her at first because there was so much time had passed from when I auditioned to the project to when I actually got the call that I booked it. So I thought it was a dead issue. But, that's just how this business works. Sometimes months go by and you don't hear anything, and out of the blue you get a call. And that's the exciting part of the business. So my first call was to my mom because she's always been my number one supporter, and so I was happy to deliver that news to her. And then she kind of took over and told the rest of the family, and I didn't have to do much more than that.
And what's the process after something like that? Did you have to go audition, or did you sort of automatically have the part? Did you do a screen test?
Yes. Well, the first time I went in, I had read for the lead role, which the character's name is Tommy DeVito, and apparently I don't know what I assume I didn't have enough credits for them or whatnot, but I know they liked my tape, so they brought me in for another role, and that role I got called back for twice, and then they brought me in for another role, and then eventually I got offered the role of Nick DeVito, which I never auditioned for in the first place. So it's kind of interesting how the business works like that. Sometimes you book things that you don't even audition for.
And tell us about the character. Did you had to act? You had to sing? Did you sing at all in the movie?
I did. Yeah, a little bit. I do. Nick DeVito is the brother of Tommy DeVito, who essentially is the narrator of the entire story. He's the one who who brought the Four Seasons together to create the iconic band that we know today. But early on, before they were the Four Seasons, they were a group called the Variety Trio, and Nick DeVito was one of them. It was Nick DeVito, his brother Tommy, and another guy named Nick Massey, and they would go around local clubs and bars in New Jersey at that time and play. And then at one point, they decided to bring Frankie Valli into the band, and they formed a new band who were called the Four Lovers. And then, as you'll see in the film, certain things happen where Nick DeVito decides to step away from the band, and then they replace him with a guy named Bob Gaudio, and that's when the Four Seasons form and become the iconic group that we all know and love of today.
Now, you may not know the answer to this question, but how much screen time do you have? How many minutes and seconds?
I couldn't tell you exactly, but I shot, there were several scenes that I shot that were unfortunately cut from the film just due to time restraints, because I think Mr. Eastwood had said they had over 3.5 hours of footage, and to be a 3.5-hour film, that's not something that they were able to do, because they needed to keep it to, I think it's clocking in at 2.5 hours now. So unfortunately, a few of my scenes got cut, but for the most part, it's all there. But in total, I'd say I'm in it for about the first half hour, 40 minutes.
Wow. And is there any particular line or lines that you may not know them verbatim that you can remember that you could say to us now?
Lines from the film? That's a hard one because so much of it was improvised. He allowed us to be so free with the dialogue, and we didn't necessarily have to stick to the script the way it was written, which was great. It was something I didn't know about Clint Eastwood, the way that he works. So it was nice to have that freedom. I honestly couldn't remember, a specific line, but that's why you go see the film.
So your mom went to go see the film. She went to the world premiere, the screening, right, in New York City?
Right, yeah. I was back on the East Coast a few weeks ago to do that with my whole family, which was great. To sit in the big theater and watch my first feature film with my family. It was a very nice to be able to finally have the opportunity to do that. And
so this is a stupid question. How did your mom like the film?
Well, I think, judging by the fact that she's seen it about 6 times already, I'd say that she liked it a lot, as did the rest of my family. Maybe they're being partial, I don't know. But it really is a great story. It's very entertaining. There's a lot about Frankie Valli's life that people didn't know. So if you go see the film, I think most people would agree with that. He led a very, very interesting life. He still leads a very interesting life. He's still on tour today.
Now, you met him. He was on set with you. What kind of interaction did you have with him?
I met him one day on the Warner Brothers lot, which was very exciting. I didn't expect him to be there, but he was. And he came over. He was very, very gracious. He introduced himself, and we talked a little bit about Nick DeVito, who has passed away since then. But he was able to tell me a lot about their experiences together when they were kids on the streets of Jersey, which was, that kind of thing was invaluable to me.
Now, had you heard anything either during or after the film from the DeVito family?
Yes, actually, the daughter of Nick DeVito had reached out to me online after she read that I got cast as her father. So she was kind enough to provide me all kinds of great information about her dad and the early Four Lovers, audio tracks that I got to listen to. So I got to hear the way Nick DeVito sounds, the way he talks. I got to see old pictures and photographs and letters and all kinds of great things like that.
Wow. And your first day officially at rehearsal, I guess, was that the read-through? Did you do the read-through the very first time?
Actually, no. The first day of rehearsal was it was a rehearsal for the musical numbers. There are several musical numbers in the film, one of which I'm heavily involved in. Actually, two, I should say, two that I'm heavily involved in. So the first day of rehearsal was the four main cast members who play the Four Seasons, and Clint Eastwood was there too. And that was my first time ever meeting him. So for me to walk in the room and see him standing there was a very, very surreal moment because, at that point is when I realized, wow, we're in. This is the real thing, the real deal. So I was very, very nervous, but he made everyone so comfortable, and he was so. He's just such a nice guy. I can't say enough great things about him.
And he's tall, isn't he?
He is. He's very tall. He's very tall. And you think he's more intimidating, I think, than he is from seeing him in all of his films, But once you talk to him and he sort of makes the mood very lighthearted, it's just funny to see him out of the characters we all know him for.
What's he like as a director, Johnny?
He's great. He really is. I mean, like I said, I didn't know the way that all I knew is that he was known for being a one take kind of director. Let's shoot it and move on, which he is. For the most part, he was very, strict to that way of working. But he also allowed us so much improvisation. A lot of which I don't know how much of it actually made it into the film, but. All of the actors said that, that we were all very, very surprised and taken back with working that way. Especially with someone of that caliber, you would think he knows how he wants it and that's how it's going to be. But to give actors, especially new actors, a chance to just have fun and discover their characters like that was such a relief. It took the pressure off of us, I think.
Did he give you any career advice during the filming of the movie?
Yeah, there were a few things that he said. I'm trying to think back. I literally was taking, notes in a journal the whole experience because I didn't want to forget any of it. But there was one thing that he said. It was just about being determined and persevering because he was telling us one day that he didn't make it himself until he was well into his 30s, which was kind of eye-opening to me because you don't think about things like that sometimes. That the majority of actors really don't make it until they're in their 30s, and the fact that I'm 31 it gave me hope for the future. So to have a film like this under my belt this early on, it reaffirmed for me that I'm on the right path, right? In life. So that was good. That was very refreshing for me to hear about him.
What do you want to do in the entertainment business? I know you play guitar, don't you, and sing and dance and all. And do you want to direct? Do you want to be in a television show? What's sort of your dream?
Yeah, it's what I learned from this film particularly is that I really love the medium of film. I love it all, but film particularly. There's something about the drama, and musicals, combined to one. This was like a dream come true for me. But I'd like to pursue everything, as best I can. If a TV show, if that opportunity presented itself, I would definitely take advantage of it. But I would eventually like to direct as well, but that's not, until down the line. I'm also beginning to get into producing and a little bit of writing. So we'll kind of just see where it goes. I don't really have any preconceptions. I'm just excited. I'm excited that I'm out the gate, so to speak.
And you were on location here in New Jersey. What was that like? Where did you shoot?
Yeah, we shot the majority of it on the Warner Brothers lot out here. When the crew was in Jersey, they were shooting in Kearney, which, funny enough, was the actual hometown of, or not maybe the hometown, but it's where Frankie Valli grew up. They shot on the actual street in the housing projects that he lived in when he was a kid. So I'm sure that must have been interesting for him to go back and sort of relive those experiences.
And did you have a chance while you were shooting to visit old friends here? And were you allowed to bring your mother on the set?
Yeah, yes, absolutely. It was funny enough. I actually flew my parents out here, and they came to visit me in Los Angeles. At the end of the film, there's this big musical closing number, which is a very, very fun number to watch. As you'll see when you see the film. But they were there for that, and that was the most exciting day on set. So I'm glad they were there to experience it with me, because the entire cast was there. Clint Eastwood was there. Christopher Walken was there. They even got him doing a little choreography, which he's I don't know if you knew this, but he's known as a dancer.
Now, acting on the stage and acting in films is very different. We talked about this before. On a stage, you sort of get into character and stay in character, and in a film, you have to turn it on and off. You get there really early in the morning, and you may wait 5 hours before shooting something, and then you wait another couple of hours. How did you manage your time? How did you kind of turn that character on and off throughout the day?
Yeah, that was also something that was new to me as well, because I'm used to theater, like you said, where the character goes through a constant journey from beginning to end, and then that's it. To stop and start, you really have to get yourself in the right mindset of where the character is at any given time, because sometimes you shoot out of sequence as well, which could make it very difficult to keep that focus. But it's the kind of thing, with the talent of, the director and the editors and everyone in post-production and the actors, it kind of all just comes together, because I remember there were certain points during the shoot where I'm thinking, wait, am I in the right headspace for where the character is at this time? Because we shot one of my last scenes first, which was a little difficult, but the way that it came out in the film, it really turned out. I was very, very satisfied with it. So sometimes you just have to trust that everyone's going to do their job, and it's going to turn out great, as it did in this case.
How does it feel? It must feel surreal. How does it feel to realize that your image, your character, your acting in this movie will be seen by millions of people for a long time? You'll be on television, you'll be on DVDs, and maybe not even DVDs, whatever they are in 50 years. What did that feel like to see your big head on the screen and realize that you are now permanently fixed to this film and everything that it's going to become?
I think about that from time to time, and I don't think I've even accepted the fact that I'm a part of it yet, because it's so overwhelming, and I'm just so grateful for the whole experience. But it's very exciting. It's very exciting. But I've been working a long time, to get to that point, and now that my career is getting some traction, I'm just I couldn't be more happy to see where it's going to lead me, and the kind of things that I'm going to be doing in a few years and whatnot. But to know that I'm always going to be a part of this film, and that it's going to be on DVDs, on people's shelves in their homes for the rest of eternity, it's very surreal, I guess. That would be the only way I could explain it.
Now, have you? It may take a while as the movie gets traction and more people see it. But are you being recognized? Are people kind of looking at you in a kind of? I think I know him, but I'm not quite sure. Are people recognizing you?
Yeah, funny enough, that's something that I've never gotten before. But yeah, the past 2 weeks, especially since the film got released, the past week rather, since the film came out, I have gotten quite a bit of that, to my surprise, because I didn't think that anyone would recognize me, so to speak. But I've had people come up and ask for an autograph and do all that kind of stuff, which is absolutely blows my mind. But it's very, very flattering, and it's humbling. It's extremely humbling.
Now you grew up in the Jersey Bayshore, and you're on a program that is really primarily oriented toward people at the Jersey Bayshore. What do you remember? And I'm sure it's not like it was a million years ago, but what did you do when you were growing up here? You acted in plays and stuff, but what did you do for fun?
You know, we a group of friends of mine and we always used to go to all of the haunted houses in that area because there's so many of them. Jersey is known as one of the, for some of the oldest haunted houses in America. So we always used to do that kind of stuff. I guess it'd be mischievous kids, for lack of a better term, but we always used to like to do that. And we always used to go down to the boardwalk in Point Pleasant and Seaside Heights. And I'm not much of a beach guy, but a lot of times that's, the only thing we found ourselves doing because out of lack of other things to do.
Well, you and I have talked about the haunted houses, and I've been to a couple of them myself. Have you had any experiences where you've either seen or experienced something that you couldn't explain?
Yeah, that's why I'm so fascinated in it, because as I was telling you earlier, we used to go to a place called the Spy House right over in Port Monmouth, and we used to take pictures and bring audio equipment to record, and then go back and listen to it, and we'd see these images in the photographs that weren't there when we took the picture, and we'd hear things in the audio recordings that weren't there when we recorded it. So all that kind of stuff fascinates me. That whole supernatural world, I think, is so fascinating. I still have a lot of that stuff, and when I get the opportunity to come home to Jersey, I always call my friends, and it's the first thing we always do. We still go do it to this day, because it's fun. It's the kind of thing that kids like to do. I'm not a kid anymore, but I still like to do it.
You want to give a shout out to some of your friends here in the Bayshore? Anybody that you'd like to say hi to? I know you're probably going to miss somebody, but
yeah, well, I've done community theater with so many people out there. So I'll give a big shout out to anyone in the New Jersey community theater world. I love you all, and I hope I get to reconnect with a lot of you soon.
What advice would you give both for acting? How do you become an effective actor? I know that's a whole year probably workshop, but in essence, what do you think are the key factors? And talk about career, especially at the high school level. Go ahead.
Well, for me, my experience was I never felt like I wanted to do anything else, other than this business personally. When I first discovered it in high school, it's been, I never really steered off of that course. And I think for anyone who wanting to pursue it, you have to have that kind of passion for it, or else, don't even bother. Not to sound harsh, but don't even bother, because it's the kind of thing that it takes a long time to get some traction in this business, and I'm the perfect example of that. But if you do persevere and stay determined, you definitely have a shot.
What do you use to act? What are some of the tools that you've discovered that you think are best in helping you act a part?
When I was in school at the American Academy, they were very big on the already existing techniques, like the Meisner technique and whatnot. I personally never found, I never really found that worked for me well. It wasn't until I became involved with my current acting coach, who was very, very heavily improv-based, and finding the character through improvisation, that things really began to click for me. And that's sort of been the way that I do everything, and I perform in theater and film, television now, because I just connected with it much better. And I think it's important, because in life, we don't think about what we want to say before we say it, a lot of the time. So I think improvising is a good way to discover, little nuances about characters and whatnot, and the way they talk and the way that they present themselves.
Is there a little bit of Johnny Cannizzaro in your character in the film Jersey Boys?
Yeah, being a Jersey boy myself, I think it's it would be hard not to include a little bit of myself in that character. But yeah, you have to incorporate a certain amount of yourself in every role you play, regardless of what it is. So yes, I would say 100%.
What now? As we watch you in the film, you did some research on your character, correct? And you talked to his daughter, and you got some insight. What is something we need to know about this character that may not be evident in the film? What can you say about this guy's motivations or what he was all about that might give us insight as we watch you in the film that will help us understand it even better?
Yeah, something that I found interesting that unfortunately isn't really showcased about Nick DeVito in the film is that he was a very talkative guy, and he always liked to make jokes. He liked to play, pranks on people and whatnot. And I wish we got to showcase a little bit more of that side of him. So I would say that he was, I guess you would call him almost a class clown, or just the crazy uncle. He was that kind of guy. Everybody has one of those, and so that's who Nick DeVito was. Aside from the music aspect of his life and the story of the Four Seasons, the more. Well,
Johnny, you are such a personable young man, and I can't wait to see the film. I've seen some of your work on video, and we'll probably show it in this program. I just wish you all the luck in the world, man. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me as well.
Fantastic. Good luck, and say hello to Hollywood.
I absolutely will, and please say hello to Jersey.
Bye-bye, Johnny.
Okay, take care.
That's our show, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week on Jersey Bayshore Country.